Morning. You're all doing all right. Thanks for coming back. I'll continue to say that anytime you get a chance to talk to you, because each and every day that you get in your car or however you travel here and you come to court, you're making a decision to participate in our justices. And there is nothing like it in the entire world. What we have here is special. It's unique. There's nothing like it. But it doesn't exist and it doesn't work without you. It doesn't. You heard from the judge. He said, what the lawyer says is evidence, and that's right. The evidence will come from the witness stand. The evidence will come from the things that the judge says this is admitted into evidence. And that is what you base your decision on. But just like what you say to each other back when you're deliberating, after you've heard everything, I mean, as the lawyers, we've kind of seen everything, we've heard everything, we think we have at least. Sometimes there are surprises in our trial. But what you say to each other isn't evidence either. But the human voice and what you believe is so important. So I ask, please listen to what I have to say. Listen to what my friend on the defense side has to say, and really take it into consideration and hold us to it. You know, if there's something that I say and it proves to be untrue, well, you might hold that against us at the end. But let's see. Maybe, just maybe, everything I tell you right now is going to prove to be true. And if that's the case, then this is, and I've never ever in now close to 200 jury trials, I tried cases all over the country, said this to a jury. This is a slam dunk case. This case is a no-brainer. It's so simple. And the only way that we lose, the only way that Michael loses, is if he loses because of prejudice and bias. Because this is a hot copy case. You know, people, and that's why we spend so much time during jury selection talking about, you know, well, is there anyone that has any bias or prejudice? Because we heard about the McDonald's case in 1994, the way the media spun that. But nobody knows what those jurors saw. Nobody knows what that evidence was that the jurors got to see during those weeks of trial, and why it is that those jurors felt that that verdict was righteous. When you see the evidence here, you'll see that your verdict in favor of Michael Garcia is going to be a righteous verdict, because this should have never happened. The other thing I've never said to a jury is that you actually don't need any witnesses to decide this case. You don't, because we've got it all on video. We had to force Starbucks to produce the video. Because Starbucks, and it wasn't Mr. Pelletier, it wasn't his firm who was on the case at the time, so it's not, the fault doesn't fall on their shoulders. But Starbucks would not produce the video to us. And Michael's deposition was taken before they produced the video. And so he was asked all these questions, how did this happen? And this is a young man, 25 years old, who has severe life-altering burns to his penis, grafted with skin from a dead body, grafted with pig skin to heal, and has had permanent damage since. And that has affected his psychology and his ability, just like the judge he said, people with bias might remember things differently. Well, people with post-traumatic stress remember things differently too.
Objection, Your Honor. Thank
Okay, well, that's argument, so sustained. Let's just stay away from argument.
The evidence will show that if there's any inconsistency, it doesn't matter, because you got the video. And while we'll have to lay a foundation for that and get it admitted to you, the video tells the story. So we're going to go through that. And the other thing that tells the story is common sense. Common sense. Let's look at what we have here. These are 3 drinks. John Rowe, he's the biomechanical expert. He's a biomechanical engineer. He talks to juries and people about how things happen. He's one of the best experts in the country. He will be testifying as our first witness in the case or our second witness. And this morning, he went to the very Starbucks where this happened off of Jefferson, and he got 3 drinks. And here they are. And these 3 drinks were put in the cup holder the right way. Now, I can tip it this way, I can tip it that way, and we're going to mark these in evidence that you can have. And these cups have been in this cup holder for a while, which means it starts to loosen up. When a cup first goes, in common sense, into a cup holder, right, it's going to be a little more tight because it hasn't had a chance to loosen up. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Oh, look. You tip it that way, tip it pretty far. That way, this way. Nothing's spilling. Why? Why isn't it spilling? Are none of these spilling? Because they were put in right. And that's what's called being reasonably careful. Because if a scalding hot drink is not put in right and it's handed to an individual and they put their 2 hands on it and my hands come off and 1/1002, it falls because it's not put in right, then that's the corporation's fault. Because the corporation handed over a scalding burn to somebody. That's what the evidence will show. Common sense. How far can we go here? That's pretty far, right? Wow. Michael did nothing to burn himself. But we are here because Starbucks Corporation refuses to accept any responsibility for this burn and what happened to change this young man's life. 0 responsibility. So that's why we are here, and that's why we have asked you to give your time. Because there is no justice without a jury. This is the case. His Honor talked about the burden of proof. When it comes to what we believe the evidence will show, we believe that we'll prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. We don't have to. Clear and convincing evidence, easy as pie. But all we have to do in order to win your verdict is to prove it's more likely true than not true. And that's what everybody here agreed they would do, is follow the law on burden of proof. So this is it. Beyond a reasonable doubt, we don't have to prove that. That's what we need to prove. What's more likely true than not true. And you just saw it with your own eyes. Drinks from the same Starbucks, they don't spill if they're put in right. That's why this is a no-brainer. That's why this is a slam-dunk case. So, what does it take to win? Weight of the feather tips the scales. But we're going to do a heck of a lot more than that. Only 9 out of 12 of you need to decide this case. 12 jurors will be, in the jury room, but only 9 out of 12 need to agree in order for there to be a decision. But when it comes to who's at fault, the first deliberations, we're going to finish this part of the trial like we split. We cut down the witnesses, and again, I said we don't need witnesses. But it's going to go quick. In your deliberations, might only take 2 to 5 minutes. Can 9 out of 12 of us agree that Starbucks was negligent? Yes. Can 9 out of 12 of us agree that this negligence caused this spill? Done. Let's move on to the second phase of the trial, which will then start on Monday. I don't think there's a case that I can think of in history where the deliberations could go that quick and what the first phase of this trial should be. But we are here having this first phase because they laid him. It's not our fault. March 30th, 1971, that's when Starbucks was born. Michael's dog. His grandmother? The other. His aunt. This man loves his family more than anything. This dog, this puppy, was about 8 months old at the time that this happened. When it comes to the dog, there is no rule that Postmates has that says people can't have their dogs in the car, whether they're support animals or just their regular pets. Postmates drivers are allowed to have pets in the vehicle. There's no rule against it, so Mike wasn't violating any rule. The idea that, well, someone delivering my stuff, might have a dog in the car, might be distasteful, that has nothing to do with this case at all. And it would be absolutely wrong and a miscarriage of justice if someone said, well, we don't like the fact that he had a dog in the car, so we're going to objection argument.
All right, sustained. Let's stay away from that, please.
The evidence will show that this dog had it. The only thing about this dog is he was a good boy. He was a good boy. And he did nothing. That dog had nothing to do with anything that happened. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. So was it Michael? Was it the good boy? His puppy? Or was it Starbucks? And Starbucks acts through its employees. That's how it's called vicarious liability under the law, which means that a corporation, doesn't have blood running through its veins or sweat and tears. A corporation operates through its people. And so if an employee of a corporation doesn't do something that's reasonably careful and is negligent in putting a cup in the wrong way, not securing it, and handing someone a burden, the corporation is responsible. That's the way our system of justice works. Here's where it happened. And what you'll learn is this is not a Starbucks where you can go inside. You can't go inside the Starbucks. I don't know if anyone's ever been to a Starbucks where you can't go inside. Well, this is one of those. So he could not have gone inside. There's a counter that you can go up to with class and you can order your drinks there. But the way Postmates works is drivers are going from point A to point B, so they use the drive-thru. That's how they do it. What Michael was doing was completely appropriate. He wasn't violating any rules. He was doing everything by the book, the way that he's allowed to and supposed to, as opposed to strive to bring in rules. This is where it happened. Oops. He was in a line, made his order, came up, his vehicle would have been right here. So he's actually just like this. I wouldn't talk about this, but bear with me. You're going to see the video. There's a counter here, and the barista who's working behind the counter. She put the drinks in, put 2 drinks in, third one she didn't put it in. She handed it across, and with 2 hands, Michael grabbed it, like that. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. In his eyes, you're going to see, just like that. 1,000, 2, and boom! Right onto his lap, scalding hot water onto his thighs, where he had skin grafted to his penis. That quick. Here, you notice, look at this. He grabs in this stuff right here. It's handed in. He's not able to see the top because it's here, and he's down below. So as it's handed to him, 1,000, 2, 1,000, you see. But if you were to tilt it that way, it doesn't fall. It's in right, does it? Oop. Tilts it this way. Nope. Tilts it that way. Nope. This way.
This young man did nothing to cause this to happen. Nothing at all.
Let's go through it.
See the cup? You able to see it? Is it in there the way that it should be? Is it? You can see with your eyes. It's not. It's not. That's why this is a no-brainer. The other thing, when you look at these, do you see the white down below? See that? When the cup goes all the way down? That's important. That's important. Every one of these, you can see the bottom of the cup, the bottom of the tray. See that? See the white right there? There we go. Right there. See the white? Bottom of the cup. If the cup is not all the way in, then you can't see the bottom. And we're going to prove this case, I'm going to prove it right now again, with the defense experts' slides and breaking this video down into different frames. There are a whole bunch of hundreds of frames here. There's the cup. Has that scalding hot medicine ball been put in the way that it's supposed to be put in? No, it hasn't. He was handed a burn. He was handed a life-changing burn. And I'm sorry that I just can't stop here. We have to actually go through this phase of the trial. Because Starbucks will accept yourselves. Cup 1, Cup 2, Cup 3. And they're numbered based upon the order in which she put the drinks in the cup holder. Secured and safe? Nope. That's the scalding hot medicine ball. It was not secure, it was not safe. There we go. February 8th, 2020, he went to Starbucks, 1789 West Jefferson. Working for Postmates. Ordered 3 drinks, stopped at the window. This is the timer, so we ordered the 3 hot drinks. There's drink 1. There's the cup holder. Boom. See how she puts it in? You see that? That's the right way. Safe. That's not going to burn him, and it didn't. The 2 drinks that were put in right did not burn him. They did not spill. But whether they're behind or something, who knows? 4 minutes, 11 seconds passes until cup number 2. So there's cup 2, there's cup 3. Watch them. That one's not put in. This one, watch it. Boom, put it in right. Safe. You'll see with this other one, she doesn't. Did you see that? You're going to see it again. She doesn't put it down, she just sets it there, puts it in, but doesn't push it down. It's not safely secured, and you can see it. It's tilting, it's out. Four minutes, 31 seconds. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, boom!
How quick did that happen? She knows it.
Objection, Martin. You can start.
Overruled. Referring to Exhibit 23.
When he screams, she does this. She saw it happen. When we took her deposition, she said, I have no memory. This is slow motion, slow motion, slow motion. Turns. Is that cup? Smiling. Get right there. That's cup 3. Boom. That's how quick this happened. This young man did nothing wrong. Four minutes, 47 seconds is how long it took them from the time he pulled up to make those 3 drinks and hand them over. We're going to go through them one by one. Let's look at cup 1, how she puts it in. Watch. Pulls it out, grabs it, boom, puts her weight into it. This is the right way. Boom. And you see it go down. And it kind of, there's a feeling when you put something in a couple, it's like a, you know, you can feel it go in. Cup 2, let's see how she did cup 2, the right way. Pushes it down. Boom. And you can see, you can see her body when she's putting it down. Her body, she uses her whole body to do it. Do you all see that? She uses her whole body to do it. It's the right way. Make sure it gets in. Cup 3, let's see how cup 3. Doesn't use her whole body, doesn't, you see that? Yeah, it's clear. It's just it's like that. So, and was it because it took almost 5 minutes to do these 3 drinks? Is it that the corporation wants its employees to move quickly? They have maybe we'll hear about that. Maybe we'll hear some evidence about, you know, how much time employees should take to make each drink and get them through the drive-thru when it's busy, when there are, you know, for people coming through. In this case, a Postmates driver who's really the middleman between Starbucks and the customer. Michael was really performing an actual, say the job, but a service to the corporation, because the corporation benefits off of the Postmates, the Uber Eats, the DoorDash drivers. Starbucks benefits, because now people, customers, can get stuff from Starbucks taken right to them using these middlemen, these middle people. Well, if the corporation is, the evidence will show, knows this, we got to make sure that we don't burn the middle people, the little people. So, cup 1, cup 2, cup 3. Cup 3 was not pushed down, it wasn't safe, it was dangerous. They passed him a burn, handed him over a scalding burn. Cut 3. Dangerous. You see his face there. The evidence will show, if Michael testifies, that he doesn't remember this all clearly because it was the most painful, excruciating, traumatic experience of his life. And so that he's done his best to try to remember what happened, and he did his best in his deposition to try to say, here's what I think happened. You know, one of the lids came off when it hit me. He's piecing it together because they didn't produce the video until after his deposition. So he's doing his best. This is what's called an answer to a request for admission. We get to ask each other questions in litigation, and we ask Starbucks, admit this. And Starbucks admitted that it was reasonable for plaintiff, that's Michael Garcia, it's reasonable for Michael Garcia to expect that the partners, the employees at the subject's coffee store located on Jefferson, would secure the cups that he had ordered in the tray before handing the tray of drinks over. So they admit that it's a reasonable expectation for the middle person to have, for a customer, or the middle person between Starbucks and the customer. They admit that it's reasonable for him to expect that the cups handed to him are going to be secured and put in right. So Starbucks admits that. That's what's called a reasonable expectation. It's just like, when we're out driving down the road, we have the right of way. It's reasonable to expect somebody's going to violate our right of way and hit us. That's a reasonable expectation. If somebody isn't being reasonably careful and they do, well, then they're at fault. For whatever harm, whatever damages or cost. That's the law. The law of our land. This is John Bro. Morning. Thank you for being here. Over 4,000 investigations into how things happen. And he's an expert. You'll hear he testifies often for the defense. When there's a legitimate case there are different types of cases. And let there be no mistake. It's not a secret. Yes, there are frivolous lawsuits out there. And that's a shame. But there are also frivolous defenses to legitimate lawsuits. And this is an expert witness who is called upon quite often to look at cases by the defense. Say, hey, is this a legitimate case? Or is this a case that is not legitimate? And he answers that question to the defense. So, in this case, we asked him to look at this case and explain what happened. He's going to do that with all of his experience. And you'll see, again, through him, because we have to prove the case to you. But this is a slam dunk for a cut case. The defense also hired an expert witness. We're going to go over some of the things that she done. We're going to prove our case, prove what she's told us, right here today, right in the opening statement. This is Han Lee. Han Lee is the defense expert. Where's Michael's thumb, his left thumb? You see it? Everyone able to see that? So, if his thumb is here, can he let go with his right hand? Can he do this? Can Michael do this? It's common sense. If his thumb is like that, what happens?
False, right? It's this thing called gravity. Real simple. This is such a no-brainer. And so we went through with a fine-tooth comb all of Honley's opinions. And we looked and we said, oh, hold on. You have him with his thumb off. But then what she tells us her opinion is at the time that these drinks spilled, that Michael's right hand was off. He wasn't holding it. Impossible. Because without the thumb, he's falling. So now, at some point, if someone's, taking drinks from a person at a Starbucks in the drive-thru there, they've got to take one hand off, right? Because you've got a steering wheel. If you're going to put stuff into a cup holder, you got to take one hand off at some point. Because if you have both hands on, then you're not going to be able to go anywhere. So at some point, whether it's if you're going to, and the way he did it was he had a towel on the passenger side on the floor, and he would put the drinks over on the floor. That's how he'd do it. Or, put it into a cup holder. But the hand's got to come off at some point. But with that 1/1002, boom, as fast as that happened, his hand didn't come off. If it did, it doesn't matter. But it didn't come off this way, because then all of the drinks would spill. So let's look at that as we go through this. So she put this together. Has his thumb off. Thumb off. This was created by the defense, created by Starbucks to try to prove their case. But instead they proved our case. I don't know. I mean, with these computer programs, you can put, different demographics and color. It's kind of like she put Jack Reacher in there and, not Michael. Doesn't look anything like him. But what's going on with this cup? You see it? This is from the defense expert. This is the defense expert who put this together to demonstrate what happened here. So if the defense expert put this together and the cup's that far out, well, why don't we stop it? Because we can't. Got to keep going. This is their evidence. Proves our case. Here's another thing she put together. This is from the defense expert. Do you see the bottom of the cup? See the difference between the ones that were put in right and the one that was put in wrong? And we looked at the white of the cups. That's a scalding hot burn waiting to happen if it's handed over to another human being. If it's a hot medicine ball that's, upwards close to 200 degrees, that's a scalding burn injury waiting to happen if it's handed to somebody. And that's the way she put it in the cup when she reconstructed and reanimated the way this all happened. That makes our case and destroys theirs. Nope. Yep. So here's another thing the defense, Starbucks, with its expert, created. And I think by the time she comes to testify, Starbucks will have paid her upwards of $75,000 or more to come up with all this as their expert to defend this case. So she says, here's my, the Jack Reacher animation. Here's what I
is an expert biomechanical person, and I'm telling you scientifically, I've looked at this whole case, I've looked at everything frame by frame, and I'm telling you that Michael had his right arm off of the cup holder at the time that the spill happened. But if his thumb was off the way she put it in the other color picture she put together, then how in the world is that possible? How is that possible? So it's right here. How is that possible? It's not, it's impossible. Impossible for him to have his hand here, because with his thumb off, they would fall. They would all fall. My partner, Daniel Bidegaray, will be cross-examining her if she shows up in this courtroom. According to Starbucks, at the time cup 3 fell, Mike was only holding the tray with his left hand. And then, and you've seen the video so far, you've seen the actual video surveillance, she takes it over here, rather than having it centered. Okay, it's here. Like puts it over here, his thumb off, his arm off. It's completely inaccurate, this one that she put together. But what is accurate is where the cup is. But if the cup fell, if this is where it was at the time of the fall, where does the cup go? If the cup is over here, if they're expert, they paid upwards of $75,000 or more, right? If it's here and the cup spills, it goes down that way. It was centered when it fell. And you see that in the surveillance. It's clear as day in surveillance. And again, he's not Jack Reacher. So where were his eyes? Where were his hands? Let's see. Now, Starbucks employees are trained, most employees are trained to make eye contact with the customer. Eye contact is important. And be courteous and be nice. That's one of the things, I think when a lot of us worked in either any type of service industry, I remember it. You get to interact with people, and it can be really nice and really fun, sometimes not so much fun. You get a customer who's not that great, but it's wonderful to work with people. And this barista was doing her job, and she was making eye contact with him, and he was making eye contact with her, and they were communicating as she handed him the drinks. She handed the drinks over, and you can see their eyes. Up until that last second plus 1.3, 1.4 seconds. Actually, probably less than I say his eye. And the time that her hands let go, it's about a second. One plus. That's how fast it spills in the time that they break eye contact. You look, he's smiling because he's a happy man living a happy life. Eye contact. And the frames here are important as we go through this very short part of the trial. This is frame 31116, 31117, 31118. And the frames, you'll hear a certain number of frames equal a second. Three, 1, 1, 2, 3, you see her hands, that's the pass. That's when her hands come off. If we go back, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2, her hands are still on the tray. Y'all able to see that? So 3, 1, 1, 2, that's something you can write down in your notes if you want to. and it'll match up with the evidence. 31122, her hands are still on the tray. 31123, that's when her hands come off. Where are his hands? They're both right here from 31123 because he has to have both hands. So we're talking from this moment in time, 31123, from this moment in time to the time that the drink spills, it's about 1.4 seconds. That's how quick this happened. From the time that the Starbucks employee let go, 1.4 seconds. 1.4 seconds goes this quick. See how quick that is? Reset. I can't even, okay. 1,000, 2. That's how quick. And it's proven by the frames. That's why he did nothing wrong. What could he have done wrong? And they have the burden of proof. The burden of proof in this case, we have the burden of proof to prove and show you that Starbucks was negligent, was not reasonably careful in drinking the cup. We've proven that already. Done. We have that burden of proof. Is it more likely true than not true that that cup wasn't put in right and secured? Yeah, we should be done. Well, since we've proven that, the answer at the end of this part of the trial will be, was Starbucks negligent? Yes. Did that cause us? Yes. Done. Now, the third question you'll answer in this case is, was Michael Garcia negligent? They now have that burden of proof. They have to bring in evidence, not speculation, not, we're upset the dog was in the car. I should the dog did something. They have the burden of proof to show that someone other than Starbucks caused this spill. It shifts to them. The judge will instruct you on it. So what in the world could this young man have done in this amount of time? Okay, I'll take the air. Sorry. Okay. So from the time that they let go, the Starbucks lets go of the tray, okay, there, 1.2, I got it that time. Didn't get it that time. They have to show that he was negligent in that 1.4 seconds, that he did something that a reasonably careful person wouldn't do. And the absurdity, the idea that he did anything wrong is enough to kill this court. So, let's look. 31123. Got it? 31124. Where are his hands? 25, 26. He's still, got a smile. There's the cup. 27. He's looking back at her. You see that? You see his eyes? He's still looking back. He's got it, and he's looked at the cups that's been handed to him, and he's, thank you. Like what a reasonable person, a kind human being would do in that 1.4 seconds, is to thank the other human being who's handed him, unbeknownst to him, a scalding hot penis burn. There's 31127, and let's look from 31127 when he's looking at her. He's still looking at her, 31128. This is the drink. So now we're down to, because a reasonable person is going to, oh, thank you, have a good day. Yeah, absolutely. Isn't the weather fine? Whatever they're talking about. Now we're talking about a half a second from the time that he takes his eyes off of her to the time that the spill occurs. If we break it down and dissect it. 3112, he's still looking at her, 31129. See the smile? Now he turned 31130. He's turned his head. There's his arm. He's holding it. There's his thumb. Right? His thumb is there. And at some point, again, this is what a reasonably careful person can do. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, thank you. Where am I going to put this thing? Because if you're going to transition to now, if you're going to transition to now, we're going to figure out where am I going to set this. If you're going to put it down over here, down on the floorboard, or the spot where it was the drinks, I'm going to just move around for a second. We can do this actually, but that's that. And if you left it with his right hand, it would all dropped. So his thumb is there, 31130, 31131. Okay, he's looking, holding it with both hands. 31132. He's looking over. There it goes. See that? 31133. That quick. Less than half of a second. Half of a second from the time that he takes his eyes off of her being a polite young man. Less than half of a second. And that cup is falling because that cup was placed there in a way that it was absolutely, without a doubt, going to fall. It was placed there dangerously, the hot medicine ball. So, and his thumb, if his arm was completely down, his right arm, the whole thing, all of them, would have spilled. But why isn't it that these two drinks didn't spill? Why is it that only the one, the hot medicine ball spilled? Why did the others spill? Because they were put in a reasonably careful and safe manner. The way they were supposed to, and we've already seen that. He was holding it with his other hand. He wasn't doing anything wrong in that half a second. He was not negligent. In your jury verdict, when we close this case, there will be no justification, and it will not be righteous to say that this young man was negligent in that half a second. Where's that? It's gone now. You see it's fallen. So by 31134, it's fallen. We go back. She's still got her hands on it at 31122. It's already gone. It's falling at 31133. So within 10 frames, really, the 11th frame, it's already falling. 10 frames. 10 frames is how long? 1.42 seconds. Thank you, Daniel. He did nothing negligent. The only negligence here is the corporate negligence. That's going down. And this tray, again, should be able to tilt it any which way. No, go that far. Sit here. It shouldn't spill. It shouldn't spill. It shouldn't spill. He's holding it right. There are the other two. They didn't spill, did they? No. Because if it was his negligence that caused this to happen, well, other drinks would spill. Well, not at all. So inconsistency, and we talked about that. His deposition was taken on the 28th of January, 2021. The next day, Starbucks produces the video that he had never ever seen before, that they'd been holding on to. That's what he's had to deal with. We requested that Starbucks produce the video May 12, 2020, a request for production of the video. Starbucks withheld it, objected. So we talked about that burden of proof. And Starbucks cannot meet any burden of proof. Maybe. It's possible. It's possible. And again, I will stand by what I said about my opponents, the law firm here that's now handling this case. They're good people. Maybe they'll stand up here and say, you know what, we now stand. It's our fault. Let's go to the next phase of the trial. It could happen. Or we can end up here and try to blame him and say it's not our fault. We shall see. I always keep a little bit of hope in my heart. Michael wasn't negligent. Other than being a good boy, his dog didn't do anything wrong. You can see his dog. This is in slow motion. There's the handoff in slow motion. He's smiling. Boom. That's how quick this happens. And that's in slow motion. Did nothing wrong. And you can see the dog did nothing. Dog's just looking out the window. I always wonder with my dogs. My dog Sonia, he looks at you, and I think he just understands the universe in a way that the rest of us don't. But his dog was looking out the window, had nothing to do with this. We're going to show that to you. The dog never moves. It's just silly and frivolous to suggest that the dog did anything. 100% of the fault and negligence falls on their side because of this. It's that. So, from the time she got cup number 3, she had 21 seconds. We've gone through this. She had possession of it for 21 seconds. And I know there was talk in jury selection that when a drink is handed to somebody, they should see, you should see that it was, it wasn't there right. But by the time it's passed to him, 1,002, he doesn't have time to see it. Oh, take it back! There's nothing he could have done. There's nothing he could have done. It was handed to him. He grabbed it, and he's looking at her and being polite. There's nothing he could have done, should have done differently in that 1.4 seconds. Starbucks is the one that was in control of the scalding hot burn that was handed over to him. He had no control. Innocent. He's innocent here. Let's look at whether his dog had anything to do with it. And I'm using the frames that we got from their expert to show you this. There he is. There's a good boy. Frame 3, 1, 1, 1, 1.
See the dog? Not moving. Let's go back. The dog never moves, does he? You see the dog moving? Dog's not moving.
And let's just imagine that, I know I've never had this happen today or anything at all. All right, this is your tail, all right? Just whack the heck out of this thing. Oh, you gotta whack it. Yeah, you gotta whack it. Come on, you gotta. No, it's a your thing. Why isn't it falling? The dog didn't do anything. It's ridiculous. You're a good girl, John.
So, was Starbucks negligent? Yes. Was Michael Garcia negligent? No. That's the end of the case. I look forward to putting some evidence, but I really look forward to showing you damages case won't happen. We've got to do this first. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So it's about 10:20, so why don't we go ahead and take a break and let defense set up for their opening. So we'll come back in 15 minutes and we'll adjourn then at 10:35. So we'll be in recess at 10:35.